So now we can proceed. We can go here, F2. We can reference this cloud computing revenue generated with F4 3 times, so that we can fill this formula right. Just Control R, and we can copy this and paste it here. So we can see that we have that kicking in here as well. So having determined the implied enterprise value for the business segment, what we want to do here is we want to now determine the equity value based on the implied enterprise value. So in order to do that, we will have to reference to, we go to the comms tab and we grab the net debt. So in this case, make sure that we have that reference with F4 so that we can fill it right, since it's going to be the same for the medium and the high. So we can also make that negative so that we can just use the sum function. And also, you could just fill that right with Control R. So now to determine the total implied enterprise value, we could just sum the total revenue generated for the first party, the third party, for the fiscal year 2021 forecast period, sum the cloud computing, and last, subscription services. We can copy that formula and paste here for ES just to keep the formatting in place for the enterprise value. So you can see that we have that sum function bringing in the sum of all of those. Then what we can do next is we can now account for the current trading multiples based on the total enterprise value for the low, mid, high, and also the revenue. So in this case, we just reverse engineer the implied enterprise value formula. So in this case, to now determine this, it's going to be equal to, we take for the high and we divide that by the total revenue generated. Reference the total revenue with F1s. And copy this formula, paste these formulas. So we have that set up in place. Now we can determine the total implied equity value based on the net debt. So it's going to be equal to the sum of the implied enterprise value, and then we deduct the net debt. You can fill this right with Control R. So for the net debt, since it's referring to another worksheet, we can go Alt Edge FC to make that font green. So we have that set up there. Now to determine the implied equity value per share, it's going to be equal to, let us reference to the comms tab, and let us bring in the fully diluted shares outstanding. sure that we have the reference with F4 so we can fill that right. Now we can take the implied equity value in per share basis, so it's going to be equal to, we take the implied equity value and we divide that by the fully diluted shares outstanding. Paste as formulas to keep the formatting in place. So as you can see, based on the sum of the parts analysis here, we were able to come up with the implied equity value per share for Amazon. So we have here a set of rows. We have here for the low, approximately $2.4 million per share. For the median, approximately $3.5 million per share. And for the high, it's approximately $7.4 million per share. So as you can see, that's our rough estimate of the implied equity value per share based on the sum of the parts analysis. So what we're going to be doing next is we will now populate whatever we have done in a waterfall chart. So in order to do that, we could just bring in whatever we have done here as a summary. So we could just bring whatever we have done here, we can just write here summary.